morning. This is just the end of my morning practice. It was intense and it was invigorating. It was hot with that bright summer solstice sun. Happy solstice, everyone. I'm just going to share with you one of my favorite sort of floor postures, restorative, lengthening posture for the psoas and the low back. You can definitely use a few props here. So I'm just going to start by doing a forward fold. So taking your time, coming into a sweet forward fold, little buoyancy in the knees, toes pointing up, and then coming forward. It's always beneficial if you're just starting out in the morning, this is the beginning of your practice, or to warm up the tissues a little bit, and to maybe prop up the sit bones a little bit so that you have a shift in the center of gravity. I like to press my fingers straight into the ground and the mat and sort of plump my bum back into the ground by pushing into the earth with my fingertips. And nice and slow, coming into that forward fold. With a lot of tension in the hips. Keystone of our earthly walk, our vibrant earthly walk, is healthy, happy hips. So that's everything in that whole hip girdle, low back, the groin, the psoas. We hear a lot about the psoas. So taking time and care and giving that impeccable, magnificent body the TLC that it needs and it deserves, by staying quiet and present with your body when you're coming into any posture, but especially the lengthening postures, especially those postures that we're going to be holding for a lengthier time in a stretched, sort of vulnerable position. So it's important to suggest to the logical mind that it is in a safe and desirable space. It's continuing to float forward into that forward fold, releasing the tension in the neck, in the back, in the hips, specifically around the groin area. And taking time again for introspection, breathing into and feeling or imagining, even just visualizing, is equally as beneficial in getting you improving the pathways. So to enable and empower the body to move freely with the breath. So visualizing when we breathe in, the pelvic floor sort of blooming open and the low back sort of swaying, the belly sort of reaching down towards the ground or out towards in front of you. And then as we exhale, letting the low back sort of puff towards the back space in which you occupy. Maybe the belly button, you can feel it rolling towards the spine. Maybe you can feel the tailbone sort of curling down, rolling through that low back, rounding through the low back. On the inhale, again, sort of arching through the low back, letting the belly billow, and feeling there's the axial skeleton revolve around the appendages, revolve around the long heads of the femur bones. So this is a nice coupling with the end of any practice, but gardening is, heavy. We're heavy into gardening days these days, or just lawn maintenance in general, depending on what you got, what your interests are, and happy hips and back is very important. So even if it's post gardening or in the morning before gardening. All right, so we're walking back up. All right, I'm going to sweep this leg around nice and slow. Get myself, douse my amazing body with some water, hydrate. Double up on your water intake today. It's going to be a hot one, and we're going to be celebrating with Oxford Pride, with the Oxford Pride group today, and that's going to be amazing. And I know I'm going to be practicing outside, and I think there's going to be a few others that are. And if you're joining us and you're capable of being outside, that would be amazing to enjoy a little summer solstice, as well as okay, I don't know what we're going to see here. Not tech savvy. Okay, you may not get my whole body. I don't know. All right, so there's Griff, my pup, one of my pups. So we got this block here. I'm going to set it just out in front. That's what my upper foot is going to rest on. If you can see that. All right, I'm just putting my arm underneath my head here. This is terrible view. Oh, goodness gracious. Arm under my head here. All right, and this bottom leg, I'm gonna reach the heel up towards my bum, and I'm gonna reach around with my top hand and grab a hold of bottom foot. Always giving time for adjustments, honoring this body and supporting it in the best way possible. All right, again, safe, desirable space is what we're looking for in sort of positioning. I've got my bottom foot pulling into a cat pulling its tail, we call this pose. Awesome, so we're just sort of lingering and hanging out here, making the adjustments as you need, slow, even breathing. Nice, I'm just gonna sweep around so you guys can see what the back sort of looks like. Oh, excuse us, Griff, are we in your backyard? Awesome. So this is the back view. So we got a little twist action happening here. Again, taking time to introspectively feel the movement of the pelvis, rocking around the hips. Breathing in, the belly billow, low back arches. Breathing out, we gently sort of press back in, let the tailbone or the sacrum rock back and forth. Breathing in and out. I would say, like, ideally we're holding these sort of poses, stretches for like 60 seconds. A minute and a half, 90 is better, you know, is really what we want to go for. Allowing the body to unravel and release on its own. It doesn't subscribe to 24-hour time, the body. It's sort of on its own space-time continuum. So we gotta respect that and honor it, you know. All things in nature happen in their own time, and when we rush them and manipulate them, there's always a grave consequence. Especially when it's rushing. Beautiful. So staying here for 60 or 90 seconds if it's available, allowing movements and adjustments along the way, keeping that slow, controlled breath, feeling the body unravel, dissolving any residual tension we've pulled in yesterday, maybe residual tension that's been pressed out of the tissues through your practice
pressed out of the tissues, or sort of the finding of the stress sources sometimes happen during our sleep. So imagining if this is part of your morning routine, you can visualize or allow for that new knowledge of the stress sources to be pressed out and released. Nice, and then slowly finding your way out, releasing the foot, rolling the body back into a sideline position. I would hang out in your sideline position for a few moments, again with supported upper leg on a block or a bolster. Before pressing into hands and knees. And finally, a little child's pose for release. Thanks again. Hope you join me today at Pride, virtual Pride celebration, and that is at 11 o'clock. I think they start at today. Check us out. Happy solstice. Peace and peace out.